In the quiet mountains of old Japan, there lived a boy who loved greatness more than most men ever would. From the time he was young, he stood at the edges of roads, at the corners of courtyards, at the doors of temples, just to watch the great men pass. He admired the warriors whose footsteps were steady, the laborers whose backs were strong, the masters whose silence carried more weight than another man's shouting. He watched them with wonder, believing that greatness was the most beautiful thing a human being could become. And because he loved it so much, he thought that was enough. He thought admiration was the first step toward becoming like them. He thought that by watching discipline closely, some of it would fall onto him like dust from their robes. But admiration without action is only entertainment, and the boy did not yet know that. Every morning, the village woke to effort. Men ran the hills before sunrise. Swords struck wooden posts in the cold dawn. Axes split timber. Teachers corrected posture. Farmers bent their backs to the earth. Pain was common. Effort was normal. Growth was earned. And while all of this happened, the boy watched. He knew who was improving. He knew who was strongest. He knew who lacked discipline. He could speak for hours about courage, focus, sacrifice, and honor. He could point out the habits of great men better than many men could recognize their own. Yet when the hour came to train, he disappeared. When sweat was required, he was absent. When boredom needed to be endured, he became busy elsewhere. When discomfort knocked, he did not answer. He told himself small lies, the kind that ruin lives quietly. I'm still young. I will begin when the time is right. I first need the right teacher. I must understand everything before I start. I am meant for more than ordinary training. These lies were soft and polite. They did not sound dangerous, but some poisons come in sweet cups. The boy drank them daily. Years passed the way years always do, without asking permission. Spring blossoms fell. Summer heat hardened the ground. Autumn leaves turned and vanished. Winter winds returned. The village changed. Boys became men. Weak shoulders widened through labor. Shaky hands steadied through repetition. Fearful eyes became calm through hardship. But the watcher remained a watcher. He had grown older, but not stronger. He had learned more words, but not more discipline. He had more opinions, but not more character. Sometimes, when no one was around, he would take a branch and mimic sword movements he had seen from afar. He imagined crowds praising him. He imagined surprising everyone with hidden greatness. He imagined beginning one day and instantly becoming extraordinary. Fantasy became the reward that effort should have earned. And because imagination felt good, reality felt unnecessary. He envied the men he admired, though he rarely admitted it. He told himself they were lucky, gifted, chosen, favored by fate. He did not see the mornings they rose when tired. He did not feel the pain in their wrists, their knees, their backs. He did not count the thousands of repetitions hidden behind their grace. He only saw the result and called it destiny. This is how lazy minds protect themselves from the truth that effort is available to everyone. One day he watched a young trainee, once smaller and weaker than him, receive praise from the master. The trainee's movements were sharp, calm, precise. The village respected him now. The boy felt something bitter in his chest. How could this happen? And he had always believed he possessed more potential, and perhaps he did. But potential unused is worth less than average ability used daily. A seed never planted is not more impressive than a tree. One day he watched a young trainee, once smaller and weaker than him, receive praise from the master. The trainee's movements were sharp, calm, precise. The village respected him now. The boy felt something bitter in his chest. How could this happen? He had always believed he possessed more potential, and perhaps he did. But potential unused is worth less than average ability used daily. A seed never planted is not more impressive than a tree. That night, he sat before a candle and stared into the flame. For the first time, admiration did not comfort him. It accused him. He saw clearly that he had spent years near greatness, but never inside it. He had mistaken proximity for progress. He had believed that watching disciplined people would somehow make him disciplined. He had mistaken inspiration for transformation. Still, even then, he delayed. Such is the power of habit. He made plans. He wrote routines. He promised himself a new beginning at sunrise. But sunrise came, and with it, the old self. The self that preferred dreaming to doing. The self that wanted identity without sacrifice. The self that loved the story of greatness more than the price of it. More years passed. Now he was no longer a boy. He was a man with the posture of someone who had carried nothing and still become tired. He stood once more at the training yard, but this time the young men there were younger than he remembered. Some were boys who had once watched from behind their father's legs. Now they moved with confidence, sweat, and purpose. Time had not only passed him, it had replaced him. He looked into water one evening and saw a stranger, not because his face had changed, but because his life had not. There is a pain that comes not from failure, but from avoidance. Failure can teach, effort can dignify, but avoidance leaves a hollow man with no story to tell himself. At last, something inside him broke, not dramatically, but honestly. He picked up a wooden sword. It felt awkward, heavy, embarrassing. His hands were soft, his stance unstable. Children could move better than him. Pride screamed for him to stop. Shame begged him to hide. But regret had grown louder than both. So he trained in the rain where no one would watch. He slipped in mud. He lost balance. He fell more times in one night than some men fall in years. But for the first time in his life, his pain meant something. His breath became honest. His exhaustion became clean. Every drop of effort washed away a little of the lie he had lived. He returned the next morning, then the next, then again. There was no dramatic transformation, no sudden greatness, no revenge against the past. Only repetition, only humility, only the quiet rebuilding of a man who had started late but finally started. He learned that greatness was never in the men he watched. It was in the habits they practiced. It was in enduring boredom, choosing discomfort, keeping promises to oneself, and returning when no one applauded. He learned that discipline is less glorious than stories make it seem, and more powerful than stories can explain. He could not recover all the lost years. No one can. Time spent watching does not return because you finally act. But something surprising happened. Peace began to replace envy, because movement heals what comparison never can. Effort restores dignity faster than praise ever will. Children now watched him train in the early light. Some saw only an ordinary man practicing alone, but one boy stared the way he once had. And when the boy asked how to become great, the man did not speak of talent, destiny, or admiration. He simply said, "Stop watching." Then he bowed to the sunrise and continued his work.